This beaten-up old motorhome has done a lot of miles through Virginia's Appalachian Mountains. Behind the wheel, two local gals who have been friends since high school. So where are we heading today?
We're heading down to Coburn, Virginia. It's actually mine and Teresa's hometown.
Paula Hill, Teresa Gardner-Tyson and their free health wagon are seen as saviours around these struggling parts.
She goes well in the mountains, this thing.
It's just a little bit noisy, but she can still climb a mountain with the best of them.
And Teresa needs to tell you the story about Sister Bernie that was climbing a mountain, and back during the coal mining strikes, she actually was arrested for impeding traffic.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It was Sister Bernie who established the health wagon decades ago.
Can you imagine the headlines? And I think it made the New York Times, you know, a Catholic nun is delivering free medical care, is arrested.
In one of the poorest parts of the richest country in the world, even basic health care is out of reach. For many, the health wagon is a last resort.
So Teresa, in 24 years, have you seen the need for a free clinic type service increase or decrease?
Certainly the need has increased. I mean, to me, we're seeing record numbers of patients. I mean, you know, for the first time ever really in our history, you know, we've had to actually put patients on a waiting list. What specialist is he?
Cardiology, AFib, and I had had a stroke.
Did you?
Yeah.
President Trump's healthcare reform was less than 3 weeks old when he pulled it last weekend. It was a short, sharp withdrawal of the promises he made to people like Julie here.
I had a stroke and had a lot of appointments and didn't have insurance, so this was really the only place you could come without having any insurance, the only place that will see you.
Because of her condition, Julie can't work, so she can't afford health insurance. And unlike Australia's free public healthcare system, in America, if you don't have some kind of health insurance, you have to pay.
If this place didn't exist, what would your options be?
I probably wouldn't have any health care.
Barack Obama signed the Affordable Care Act in 2010. Better known as Obamacare, it made it illegal for insurance companies to turn people away. 20 million Americans could afford health insurance for the first time in their lives. But not around here.
Tell Sandy we said hello.
Okay, I sure will. Thanks.
The majority of the individuals that come to us do not have any form of insurance. The Affordable Care Act has did little for this area because the Affordable Care Act has not been affordable as you would think. Yeah.
It's in the ankles, it's everywhere.
Donald Trump won a resounding 79% victory in this county, largely due to the failings of Obamacare. One of the biggest complaints is that it makes health insurance compulsory. And around here, people don't like the government telling them what to do.
Did anybody in your family have rheumatoid arthritis?
No.
No,
Not that I know of.
56-year-old William Orender is a Trump man.
But, like I say, the Lord ain't gonna put no more on you than no she can take.
Yeah.
I'm maxed out.
You're maxed out.
Well,
But I know you're not complaining, but we want to help you, though. We don't want you to have to live like that.
I mean,
That's the issue.
I don't want to live like that either, but you know what? When the Lord deals you out of hand like that, you just gotta take it.
Yeah, but that's what God gives people knowledge for medicines and stuff, too.
Well, I tell you what, y'all done a wonderful job. I mean, a wonderful job.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
It's disgraceful the way that we are handling our healthcare system here in America, that it's becoming an only a privilege for the very elite. We are a country that's ran not by the majority rules, not by democracy anymore, but it's run by the almighty dollar.
All right. Yeah. All right. You have a blessed day.
You too.
Good to meet you.
That's my New Year's resolution. I had two choices. Well, I had three choices. Either die or go to the nursing home or come here, and I chose right here, and it was the best choice I ever made.
And if there wasn't this service, what would your healthcare options be?
I'd be dead. I'd be dead. I mean, I would have been dead because I didn't have no insurance.
Do you think President Trump will be able to fix healthcare?
Well, your guess is as good as mine. I don't know, but I'm hoping for the best because somebody definitely needs to do something.
For a country tagged as the most powerful in the world, a lot of people seem incredibly vulnerable here. It's been estimated a third of Americans don't seek medical treatment because of the high cost. William, who I met at the health wagon, hopes that President Trump will have something in store to make his life better.
That's my camper right there. That's where I live in right there. What about that? I guess
That's where you're living.
Yeah, it ain't bad. It ain't. I'm not camping out 24 hours a day.
William once ran a successful tree felling company, but arthritis struck.
I can walk through it.
Now, unable to work and with no financial backstop, his dream house sits unfinished.
So you haven't been able to do anything on it?
Nah.
Why?
Well, I ain't able. If I was able, I'd done have it. Man, if I was able to work, I'd be out working. I'd be making money to bring in to get you some here built. But I ain't, financially wise, I just didn't have it.
William's arthritis medication would cost $1,200 a month, but he gets it free from the health wagon. On zero income, he gets a lot of his food for free from the forest.
So what else can you eat from around here?
Oh, wild, yeah, deer, wild pig. You got elk. You got grouse, pheasant, squirrel, rabbits. Yeah, all kinds of critters. Yeah, good old Roman noodles.
Yeah? And that corn, the turkeys will like that?
Well, it'll bring in something. I don't know what. It'll bring in something.
Dinner, maybe?
Well, it could be.
And so what would you like to see President Trump do?
Take Obamacare and throw it out the window and flush it down the commode and it needs to go quick, you know.
Now, that won't be happening. Obamacare is, for the foreseeable future, here to stay. Successfully dumping Obamacare was the first major test of President Trump's authority. This failure calls into question his ability to govern. But it's been threatening to break the country further apart for weeks.
She's very used to hospital visits. She gets kind of scared anytime she sees somebody in scrubs, unless it's somebody she recognizes.
In Louisiana, Lena is in the middle of chemotherapy treatment for leukemia.
She was diagnosed when she was 1, so this is pretty much all she's ever known.
What does this mean? You know, is my child going to die? That's probably the biggest one, of course, is like, am I going to lose my child to this illness?
Can I see pink?
Yeah, I have pink. Do you want pink instead of blue?
No. No.
Depression, of course. When it really settles into you how nothing's going to be the same now. And when we're done here, we have the treats in the car, remember?
Under Trump's plan for America, dubbed Trumpcare, Lena's parents had even more to worry about. Like going bankrupt if they have to pay for a treatment, estimated at $1 million. Right now, the Blackburns don't pay because Lena comes under the government's Medicaid program for low-income earners.
All right. They have Moana.
To keep the family income low and keep Lena on government Medicaid, only Seth works.
So we didn't like that, but it was just a financial reality for us, and we thought that it would be a short-term solution.
Under Trumpcare, Medicaid would have been drastically cut. 14 million people were predicted to lose out, including the Blackburns. And not only would they have to pay for Lena's treatment, they could have also found their daughter uninsurable in the future.
If the pre-existing conditions clause goes away, then finding a company that will take Lena on for health care would be very difficult. And on top of that, finding one that would take her on that we could afford would be almost impossible.
Thank you so much.
Before Obamacare, people like Lena would struggle to renew their insurance as they got older.
Thank you.
Because companies could and would refuse coverage, saying they had a pre-existing condition. Obamacare made that practice illegal. Who knew what would have happened under Trumpcare if it had passed? As the fear of Trumpcare took hold, lots of people have been getting politically active, including the Blackburns.
Stuff to make it taste better, right?
They decided to front up to Louisiana's Republican Senator Bill Cassidy at a recent town hall meeting.
We want to go to make a face-to-face appearance, especially with Lena with us. You know, when you can see a sick child, it's different than hearing about, well, your plan is not great for everybody versus this plan is bad for this kid in front of you right now. And just see what he says.
Baton Rouge is a largely Republican voting area. It's friendly political territory for the senator. But a lot of people here, like the Blackburns, want Senator Cassidy to talk about health care. His minders are banning questions on the topic. So, next to the stage afterwards, April grabs her chance.
How's your daughter?
She's doing good on chemo. She has about a year of treatment left, but we're very concerned about what's going to happen once the ACA is gone and pre-existing conditions, if we're going to go bankrupt affording her.
Well, first, again, if you end up needing casework, let us know that. But I'm a doc who worked in the charity hospital system for 25 years. You don't have to tell me, as a physician who worked in the public hospital system for 25 years, that is my goal. I am trying to bring coverage and help families who have a tougher time with a $6,000 deductible. She looks beautiful. She has her hair.
Yeah.
Look at those big brown eyes. Hey, thank you for your question.
The Blackburns got their FaceTime with the senator, but did they get any answers that would reassure them?
I feel like we got a pat, trust me, I'm a doctor response. I wanted details of how exactly are you going to protect people with pre-existing conditions without the ACA. And it was just it'll happen, it's fine. So, I'm disappointed with the answer.
It's the first time in my life where I really am kind of afraid for what kind of future my children can have in this country, especially my daughter, because decisions being made right now could threaten the very security of her health. That goes beyond college, beyond careers, beyond financial success. That's her very life.
I'll slide down and get them.
Good job.
Seth is far from alone. 2 months after Trump's inauguration, and Obamacare is more popular than ever. People are fighting to keep it, which is irritating Trump supporters on local radio.
These protesters are acting all big and tough out there with their signs and their attitudes and their chanting.
He's my president, not my president.
And then a truck comes along and is, they're screaming and we're smiling.
Republican Senator Bill Cassidy also went to New Orleans, flying the flag against Obamacare. But these protesters weren't having a bar of it. It says something about the nature of American politics right now that major healthcare legislation can be drafted introduced and dumped within a month. The Republican Party has conceded the town hall protests had an impact.
If you want to disagree and you don't have a sign, stand up and turn your back on the senator.
Tell me about your sign here.
Well, when I was self-employed, I had pre-existing conditions that before ACA were not covered. My medications got to a point where I couldn't afford to take them, and without them I would have died. And with Obamacare, it covered my pre-existing conditions, and I've been healthy ever since.
The venue was nowhere near big enough to hold all the angry locals. To make matters worse, Senator Cassidy was late.
We've been here 5 hours! I'm tired of this conversation!
My daughter has cancer. She's 23 years old. She believes that no one cares, especially not Senator Cassidy.
I'm a 4th-year medical student at Tulane. I'll be graduating this year and starting my residency. Since the Affordable Care Act and Medicaid expansion, it's very simple. We are better able to take care of our patients.
Uninsurable child standing in front of you as you smile.
Thank you all for being here. I apologize. I was looking at the tornado damage in New Orleans. Now, under our plan, you could actually end up with more people insured than under the ACA.
Which is more restrictive than Obamacare.
A Volkswagen replacing your Cadillac. That's what you got. Trump lies. We all know that Trump lies. Do your job. Do your job.
Hundreds of people who didn't get in stayed outside and stayed fired up.
I have a condition called a polysaccharin immunodeficiency. It's chronic. There is no cure. It falls under the Orphan Drug Act, and it, without treatment, is fatal. I require infusions of a medication called Hizentra once a week. 2 months without it, and I die. Without the ACA, no insurance will cover me because my medication is $10,000 a week, $40,000 a month.
Impossible medical bills are a defining American story.
Yeah, I wanted a finer mesh than this, but this is all they have left.
I met up again with Hayley, whose weekly medication costs $10,000. She was getting ready for a Mardi Gras parade with her boyfriend Grant.
So right now I am working on 3 goddess headpieces for the Rex parade. They're going to be on a float with a bunch of other like ancient Greek gods and goddesses because it's carnival leading up to Mardi Gras. And this is a really like traditional motif. It's one of the things that I get commissioned for a lot.
So Nola's a good place to be a costume maker, yeah?
Oh, definitely, because we do stuff year-round.
So you guys have just moved in together?
Yeah.
Yeah? And how's that going?
That's going pretty well, except for the animals, but everything else is pretty good.
Hayley's also constantly thinking about what it costs to stay alive.
My medication is called Hizentra. I can actually show it to you. It's in the fridge.
Yeah, cool.
This is 9 grams, so 50 milliliters, and it costs $10,000. This is 10 grand in my hand right now. Every Tuesday, I infuse 9 grams of this subcutaneously, so it's 4 needles in one of my hips. It's currently free with my dad's insurance.
Under Obamacare, if you're under 26 like Hayley, you're covered by your parents' health insurance. But Hayley turns 26 in a couple of months' time, and under Trumpcare, she would have been unlikely to find a policy she could afford.
My brother actually died from this condition. Luckily, my little sister doesn't have it. He was diagnosed later looking at my symptoms and looking at like how he died. I didn't really know him. He was 12 years older than me. So he was 14 when he died and I was 2. Yeah.
Even though Trumpcare is dead, Hayley's future health care is still precarious. Obamacare may be here to stay, but it's not perfect, and now it'll be overseen by a president who detests it. Could things get worse?
So how do you live with that kind of concern?
I am really stressed out a lot. I keep applying for jobs with benefits, but the economy isn't great. Yeah, I just keep putting in applications and crossing my fingers.
Yeah,
Sure.
we're just kind of working that one day at a time right now. I mean, I've definitely thought about it, and I, have some ideas of what we would do if worst case, scenarios happen, and maybe she didn't have insurance. But, yeah, just try to stay healthy, try to stay sane, It's, stressful, but it's worth it, so.
It's carnival time in New Orleans. A time when the city doesn't seem to have a care in the world. But if you've got a potentially life-threatening condition, you live with a constant level of worry. And that's where Hayley's at.
It's just life for me, and it's sort of weird kind of living with all of those limitations. And I think I deal with it by taking a little more risks than I should.
Trumpcare may be dead. A victory for millions of people. But Hayley's unease speaks for a lot of Americans right now.
So one day at a time then?
I deal with it by not dealing with it. I just kind of focus on, going to work and taking care of the house and hanging out with my dog and working on crafts. The more mentally occupied I am in other spaces, the easier it is for me to get through my day.
On his first big promise, Donald Trump has failed. Which begs the question for many, besides promises, what else has he got? As the new administration rolls into an even more uncertain future, still with only the promise of shiny baubles and prosperity for all, many people are grasping, wondering, and afraid.